Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. Today I'll be showing you how to crochet this unicycle. It was another request. When crocheted using 8 ply and a 3mm hook, this one, the size is 8 centimeters by 15.5 centimeters or 3 inches by 6 inches. The medium unicycle, this one, crocheted using 4-ply crochet cotton and a 1.5mm hook, is 5 centimeters by 9 centimeters or 2 inches by 3.5 inches, and the small one, crocheted using 2-ply crochet cotton and a 1mm hook, is 4.5 centimeters by 8.5 centimeters or 1 3/4 inches by 3.25 inches. I'll be using 4-ply crochet cotton. I've got red as my main colour and black and grey. I've got a 1.5mm hook, a darning needle to weave in my ends, scissors and thread and a needle to stitch it together. Now I'm going to start on the wheel first. I've got my grey and I start with a magic loop. There's lots of ways to make a magic loop. I like to just put my hook on the yarn, bring the short end over the hook and then take the long end over the short end to make a circle. Put the yarn around the hook and bring the hook with the yarn through the circle, and there's your magic loop. Then I work 1 chain. Into my circle I work 8 single crochet. A single crochet is a double crochet using UK terms. For a single crochet, put your hook in through the circle and bring back a loop, yarn around the hook and take the hook with this yarn at the end through the 2 loops, and we need 7 more single crochet. Now that's my 8 single crochet. I pull the circle tight, so I take hold of the tail and just ease the circle in, and then I join with a slip stitch in the top of the first stitch. So I put my hook into the stitch, bring through a loop and take it straight through the loop on my hook, and that's the centre of the circle done. I'm going to start working the spokes now. I start with 9 chain. Now that's for the first spoke and the 2 chain in between the spokes. Now I'm going to work a triple treble. A triple treble is a quadruple treble using UK terms. For a triple treble, put your yarn around the hook 4 times, then hook into the same stitch as your chain and bring up a loop. Yarn around the hook, take the hook with the yarn through 2 loops, yarn around the hook, hook with the yarn through the next 2 loops, yarn around the hook, hook with the yarn through 2 more loops, yarn around the hook, hook with the yarn through 2 more loops, and then yarn around the hook and your hook with the yarn at the end through the last 2 loops. And that's the first 2 spokes. Then we work 2 chain and then a triple treble into the next stitch, two chain and a triple treble into the same stitch as your last triple treble. We'll have 2 triple trebles into each stitch. And 2 chain, we'll have 2 chain between each spoke, and then another triple treble into the next stitch, two chain, and a triple treble into the same stitch as our last triple treble. And then two chain and a triple treble into the next stitch, two chain and a triple treble into the same stitch as our last triple treble. And just continue working like that. Two triple treble in each of our single crochet from row 1 with two chain between each spoke. Now I've worked two triple treble into the last stitch, then I work two chain and work a slip stitch in the 7th chain. And fasten off. And that's the spokes done. I'll just weave in those ends and I'll be back with the black to work this row around the spokes. Now for the outer wheel, you join your black cotton to any stitch. And work one chain. Now I'm going to work into each of the stitches just so there's a little bit of grey showing round the edge of the inner wheel, but you could just work 3 half double crochet into each of the two chain spaces if you'd prefer. So I'm going to work 1 half double crochet in the same stitch as my chain. A half double crochet is a half treble using UK terms. For a half double crochet, put the yarn around the hook, hook into the stitch and bring through a loop. Yarn around the hook and take the hook with this yarn at the end through all the loops. And then we work one half double crochet into each stitch right around. Now I'm crocheting over the top of the tail. I'm just holding it against my work and crocheting over the top of it. So I'll just continue working one half double crochet into each stitch, and I'll be back when I get towards the end of the row. At the end of the row, I work one half double crochet in the last stitch and then slip stitch in the top of the first stitch and fasten off. And that's the wheel done. For this frame part here, using my red, I work 14 chain. I work a slip stitch in the second chain from the hook. And work one single crochet into each stitch to the end. For this little top section, I start with 3 chain and work 2 double crochet into the side of this last single crochet. A double crochet is a treble using UK terms. For a double crochet, put the yarn around the hook, hook into the stitch just in the top there and bring through a loop. Yarn around the hook, take the hook with the yarn through 2 loops, yarn around the hook, take the hook with the yarn through the last 2 loops and work 1 more double crochet in that same spot and fasten off. and that's the frame piece. For this upper frame piece, using my grey, I start with 6 chain, I miss the first chain and work 1 slip stitch into each remaining chain. And for the little piece at the end, I work 1 chain and work 2 single crochet into the end of the last slip stitch. So just into the top there, 2 single crochet and fasten off. And that's the upper frame part. Now for the seat, using my black, I'll work 15 chain row 1, I miss the first chain and work 1 single crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. And then work a joined single crochet over the following 2 stitches. For a joined single crochet, put your hook into the next stitch and bring through a loop, and then hook into the following stitch and bring through a loop. You've got 3 loops on your hook. Yarn around the hook and take the hook with this yarn at the end through all the loops. And then we need a joined single crochet over the next 2 stitches. That will just make the seat curve up. And then we work 1 single crochet into each stitch to the end. And fasten the black off. Now I join in the red. I join it to the first stitch worked of the black, so the side away from these tails, so just in here. I work 1 chain and work 1 single crochet into each of the first 5 stitches, a joined single crochet over the next 2 stitches, and then 1 single crochet into each stitch to the end. And then I slip stitch in the top of that first chain, and turn my work. For row 2, I work a single crochet in the first stitch and slip stitch into the next stitch. A single crochet into the next stitch and slip stitch into the following stitch. A single crochet into the next stitch and slip stitch into the following stitch, and then work 1 half double crochet in the next, slip stitch into the next stitch and work 1 half double crochet into the last stitch, and fasten off. And that's the seat done. Now I'll just start on the pedals now. I've got my red still, and I start with 3 chain. I miss the first chain and work 1 single crochet into each of the remaining 2 chain. And fasten off. And I'll make another pedal the same. I start with 3 chain, miss the first chain and work 1 single crochet into each of the remaining 2 chain, and fasten off. Now I'll just weave in these ends, and I'll be back with my grey to work just the few chain to go on the end of the pedal. Now for the end of the pedal, I join my grey cotton just at the edge of the pedal and work 4 chain. And fasten off. I leave a longer tail than usual because I'm going to use that to sew it to the unicycle. And that's the first one done. For the other one, I join it to the opposite side. I joined this one to the top of the row. This one I'm going to join to the bottom. And I work 4 chain. And fasten off, leaving a longer tail. Now I'll just weave in the rest of the ends except for this one, and I'll be back and we'll put it together. Now there's my pieces. I've got the wheel, the upper frame, the frame, the pedals and the seat. The first things I'm going to do is join the frame and the upper frame. The upper frame just goes behind the top part of the frame, just like that, and then I attach the seat just to the top of the upper part of the frame with it pointing up. So it will look like that. So I'll stitch those together and I'll be back. Next I stitch the frame to the wheel with the bottom of the frame going at the centre of the wheel there. Just up like that. I stitch around, down around it and then up again. The last thing I do is attach the pedals with the tail I left. One goes at the front, about there, and the other one goes behind, probably about there, just so they're across from each other. So I'll attach them and I'll be back to show you the finished unicycle. And there's the finished unicycle. If you've liked my video, please like, subscribe and share. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest and Twitter. The details are in the description below, along with the details of my website where I have my patterns, the details of my Patreon and the details of my Facebook group. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.